Well, hey, there you are. Sonia here. Welcome to Sonia's Sermonettes. Now, normally the messages are for encouraging, to build up, to edify, and to be a support. But today I cannot help but feel this needs to be talked about. Now, we go by assumptions far, way out too much, that we know individuals. We assume that we understand their lifestyles and what have you. We just jump to conclusions, actually, and get on board with it and just run it completely out of town. For the fact that you never know what an individual is going through at the time. You never know where they've came from and how far they may have come from. You just go by your little judgment, and you think it's okay to pass judgment and to make a big deal out of someone's life that God's using. God will use whomever he pleases, and he chooses whom he knows has the heart to have the compassion. Now, if you're radical, critical, and judging, carrying on like that, you really do not have the heart of God. It's that simple. You can just jump to conclusions and just spread it like wildfire about individuals when, like I said, you don't even have any clue about what that individual is about. And here's the most important thing I want people to remember is this. If God chose them, if God anointed them, if he led them to where he did, then who in the world are any of us to criticize what God has chosen? You know, there's a place in the Bible. I think people just haven't read the Bible with an open concept. I've often wondered if people have any common sense at all. I just rather doubt that many do. They just all cluster together in a judgmental corner as if they're sitting on the judgment seat, and they pass judgment towards so different many people because, they just don't know. They might be just out there and I'm not sure about them, and you better be careful. You know what? We need to be careful about who we're judging. But it tells us clearly to not judge. It tells us, it explains very clearly. And if God before you, then I wonder who people think they are to be against what God's called and what God has chosen to use. Many times, people just assume the lifestyle, where they're living, their home environment, everyday living, their financial state, their physical state, and their mental state. You think you already know when you don't even have an idea at all. It'd be best to keep your mouth shut, is what I'm saying. Because it would be better that you had a millstone hung around your neck and you'd be cast into the sea than to offend. Do you know what offend actually is? It's being offensive. It's being cruel. It's being mean. It's being harsh. It's being judgmental. And you don't care who you hurt or how far you can go with hurting people. Time will come that there will be a reward for each and every one of us. We need to search our soul, search our heart, and ask ourselves, what am I really trying to do here? What is my life really consisted of? And how far have I gone? People just assume your life is fine, hunky-dory. I can remember a time when I got involved in a marriage, actually. Everybody thought it was just an ideal little relationship. They had no idea about what life was at home. And I can tell you this, it took God to get me out of there. And I thank God for it. If you feel you have a right to judge others and to criticize them, maybe you ought to get back to reading the Bible and find out what it says about judging. Don't tell me it's okay for us to judge before we don't even know anything about an individual, and we're jumping on the bandwagon judging. I pray that those that are doing this will get an understanding and get an awakening and realize that they're going downhill quickly doing so. It doesn't lift up God. It doesn't lift up the people. It doesn't share love. It doesn't show anything but a bad attitude and a bad spirit. And so, until next time.